Every Easter morning, preachers have a dilemma. How do we make the most important message of Christianity come alive once again? It's complicated because every single sermon preached should be about resurrection of some sort. And here you and I gather today to celebrate the big resurrection, Christ's resurrection on Easter Day. So if I've been doing my job all year, this message should be very familiar. And yet we've got to get a hold of it one more time. We have to celebrate it in a big way. I have a clergy friend who is very much aware of this dilemma. And she often tells me that she's tempted on Easter Sunday just to stand up and say, Alleluia, with a capital A, Christ is risen. And then hopefully the congregation responds, the Lord is risen indeed, Alleluia. And then sit back down, and we're all one step closer to Easter brunch. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint anyone, but I'm not going to do that today. But her unusual idea got me thinking about a rather unusual concept for Easter. Capitalization. That's right. Capitalization. Have we ever thought about it? Those pesky uppercase letters, those pesky lowercase letters, typing on a website, trying to log in, and we haven't taken the cap lock off. We missed it once, we missed it twice, we miss it a third time, and Fifth Third Bank is going to shut our online access off till we make that phone call. Capitalization is very important when it comes to logging into something. It's also important when it comes to church terminology. Think about it. Every week we say that we are part of one holy and Catholic church. But whether we capitalize that C or not is critical. For we are not part of the proper name Roman Catholic Church with a Catholic with a capital C. Instead, we're part of the church that begins with Catholic with the little c. The definition of that Catholic is the faith that has stayed true to all that has been believed since the beginning of our faith's journey. That's Catholic with a little c. Capitalization is also critical when it comes to the word resurrection. On Easter, we celebrate resurrection with the capital R. The resurrection. Christ's resurrection. The resurrection that makes all resurrections possible. All resurrections that begin with the little r. Those rebirths, renewals, and holy new beginnings that are so essential in all of our lives. If we look around us on this Easter morning, when we celebrate Christ's resurrection with the big R, we don't have to look far to see examples of those other resurrections. They're represented by the earth awakening from its winter slumber and brighter days bringing brighter thoughts and hopes into what may have become the darker places in our lives. These resurrection moments are found every week at St. Mark's campus as our congregation hosts numerous AA and Al-Anon groups, helping people return to health and wholeness. It surprises many people to learn that as many folks pass through our doors each week as one of those groups, as an example of those resurrections than come to worship on Sunday morning. And make no mistake, St. Mark's worship attendance has been growing steadily for years. So if we're talking about ministry to a significant number of people who feel broken in body or spirit and are seeking freedom and release from what is pushing them down in life, this church is a wonderful place of God's resurrection power in the midst of people most of us don't even see. This coming weekend, the power of resurrection with a small r will be witnessed by our junior warden, Kelly Kelleher, and myself as we travel up to Marion, Ohio, as part of the Kairos prison ministry. We will be armed with, of all things, cookies baked by members of our parish. These cookies represent God's unconditional love to inmates who cannot imagine a God who forgives. Most especially a God who could possibly forgive them and offer hope of new life or a new birth. Each member of the Kairos team is asked to bring 200 dozen cookies. Now, for Kelly and I, that meant asking St. Mark's to bake 400 dozen cookies. We knew this was a very large number, almost undoable, but not for St. Mark's. I've just been told this morning that we have reached a total of 600 dozen cookies. 600 dozen tokens of resurrection with a small r. Amazing. Where will this go from here? Well, stay tuned, because something tells me God isn't finished yet. A few weeks ago, I had the chance to motor down to the Chickamauga battlefield in Georgia. Chickamauga is in its own right a wonderful example of resurrection as the first Civil War battlefield to become a national park in America. An inspiring example of cooperation and respect among Union and Confederate veterans. Coming back, I experienced my own personal encounter with resurrection with a small r. It came as I had a brief flirtation with resurrection with a large R. Driving back after dark, did I mention I don't like to drive after dark? I had to merge onto an interstate from an on-ramp marked ramp open. Well, it seemed to me that it should have been marked ramp closed. Did I tell you I don't like driving after dark? I'm going faster and faster in the night, and I find myself in an area not only not open for traffic, but with no lines, no signs, no markings of any kind to help get me back on the interstate. My Mini Cooper, perhaps feeling its British motor racing ancestry, creeping upwards of 80 miles an hour on through the night. Did I mention I don't like driving after dark? A song was playing on the radio which seemed very appropriate at the time, and whose lyrics I didn't need to look up to remember. They go like this. I got off track. I made mistakes. I backslid my way into that place where souls get lost, lines get crossed, the pain won't go away. I hit my knees. Now here I stand. There I was, now here I am, changed. Needless to say, I got back on track, and here I am. But these lyrics by country music star Rascal Flatts illustrates a metaphor I think many of us can sympathize with on this Easter morning. For there are so many ways to get off track in life, whether it be through our mistakes or the mistakes of others, or the pain of the world in its brokenness. There are times when we find ourselves in places where souls may indeed seem lost. Yet it is the awesome reality of God's love that we celebrate today, that when we hit our knees, we can then truly say we are able to stand. And so, my friends, perhaps our celebration of Christ's resurrection with a big R this Easter is really a reminder of all those smaller resurrections we are all so much in need of in life. Perhaps it is an invitation to ask Christ to help bring a resurrection about in our life. These are the times when one is filled with the grace and the love and the hope to turn to God and ask for renewal, to hit our knees so we can stand, changed as the precious, eternal, divinely created soul that is our true being. Thanks be to God. And oh, I almost forgot. Alleluia! Christ is risen.
The Lord is risen indeed. Alleluia.
May the light of Christ, rising in glory, dispel the darkness of our hearts and minds.
Backslid my way into that place where souls get lost, minds get crossed, and the pain won't go